Coaches Show. We are broadcasting live. Home of the tastiest barbecue this side of the Pecos. And the other side of the Pecos, too. It's actually the best barbecue on both sides. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
The best. The best, says Josh. All right, guess what, folks? It is a playoff edition of the Coaches Show. Who's ready for some playoff hockey? Exactly. Well, you know, one of the things that takes place when you get down to this time of the year is the guys recognize each other with the annual team awards. And that took place last night at the team's banquet. And I wanted to give you a chance, Josh. We're going to talk about some of the awards that were handed out last night and the players that were recognized. And what's really nice about it is, you know, you have the players vote on it and the coaches are involved, and it's really kind of a community effort by the people that are closest to the players. So when you win one of these awards, it really packs a lot of extra wallop. So we'll start off. I want to go to the most improved category. And the guys, we actually had two winners this year, and it was a shared award with Marshall Bowery and Luca Maver. So tell us about those guys.
Yeah, the most improved, you know, seeing two guys pop up on that list, and you know, it's pretty special. We believe there's a lot of guys who have improved tremendously throughout the year, but these awards were voted on solely by the players. The coaches had no input. We didn't take anything else into consideration other than what the guys put on the sheet as their pick. So, you know, that's quite an accomplishment to have your peers deem you as most improved throughout the entire season.
You know, and you take a guy like Luca Maver. Now, he's a returner from last season. The way he finished up last season and moving into this season, I think there were some big expectations for him. So, in terms of most improved, I kind of felt like he came in much better than he started last year, and he basically just kind of moved along the projected path as far as achieving his potential.
Yeah, Luca's been, last year is the youngest guy on the team. This year's the second youngest guy on the team, and, you know, you're starting to see him, you know, reach that level where it's, you know, he's making things look easy at times out there, and that just speaks to his dedication on and off the ice. You know, he's been here for almost 2 full seasons now, and he came in a lot bigger than he was last year for sure. That was the most apparent thing at first sight, and he just kept working throughout the year. So he's definitely developed into quite a hockey player at this point in the year.
You know, and not to belabor the point with Maver, but not only is he good in the open ice and the way he can handle the puck, but one of the areas where he really shines, I think, is on the boards. It's like he really enjoys those battles. He welcomes them, and he seems to be very productive in those areas.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything about hockey that Luca does not enjoy. He just loves everything about the game. Anything you teach him, he just soaks up with a huge smile on his face, and you know, it's things like that you know, why guys, you know, continually get better day in and day out. So they just love the game, they love learning, and they soak it all up like sponges.
The other most improved player, as recognized by his teammates, Marshall Bowery, and that's the guy that really came to my mind because he was a player, again, he came in with a certain degree of expectations based on the way he had performed in high school, but he got here and it just kind of, the numbers weren't coming. You could see he was working hard and he was making things happen on the ice, but he just wasn't being able to crack the score sheet. And once that started to happen, you saw him really grow. And I think we talked a little bit about this on one of the pregame interviews once, about how right around that time of the season where you had to move him back to defense to fill a gap temporarily, it was almost as if that just brought something out in him because he took from that point and he really blossomed.
Yeah, you know, I think the best comparison in my mind is Dom Lutz last year. You know, he at times struggled to get points up on the board, and you know, coming from Michigan high school as well. And you know, the thing about you know, Marshall, he's never complained. You know, things have gotten tough, and that's expected when you're going to a new team at a new level. You're going to have that so-called wall to get over, the transition phase for the speed of the game and the pace. You know, he never complained though. He just came to work every day, and you know, he asked a lot of questions. And you know, you may be right, around the time when we were having a little bit of trouble on D, when he moved back there, I think he just embraced, you know, whatever role you put me in, coach, I'd be happy to do. You know, whatever is better for the team. So, you know, I think when you get more guys thinking like that, you'll start to see good things happen.
Moving on to Rookie of the Year, and there could probably be a discussion about this for a couple of guys, but there's certainly no way to argue with the guy that ended up winning the award, and that's in Quinn Preston. And boy, what a fantastic development his story is as well.
Yeah, this was, I believe this was the closest award of all of them. We have a lot of good young first-year players here. You know, if we get them back, great. If not, you know, we did our job as well. So this is part of the game at this level that is kind of tough for us. You know, we have so many good young players that come through our program that, you know, they're here for a year, maybe two, and then they move on. So Quinn's been fantastic. He uses his speed. He's tenacious. He's got a good stick, you know, good skill level, and he puts on some flashy moves sometimes that I got to pull him over and kind of reel him back in sometimes. He likes to pull out the between the leg stuff a little bit, but you know, to be able to do that says something about your skill level. So he's definitely developed into a hockey player. I think Quinn's biggest hurdle coming in was, you know, the D-zone, because he had the puck on his stick so much in high school that, you know, he'd just skate the whole length of the ice and go score. So now you got to play in the D zone and defend with your stick, and he's picked up on that very quickly, and you know, you see the rest of his game develop because of that.
One of the awards that's been handed out for years and years, and for years it was just simply known as the hard hat, but in the last couple of years it has been anointed as the Halley hat in remembrance of Peter Hallish, and the winner of this year's Halley hat is Cam Strong.
Yeah, I think in the locker room, in the team, you know, in the RoadRunner Nation, I think that this award, you know, speaks volumes to, you know, what we are here in Topeka. You know, it really is about what we're here to do as an organization, why the fans come out and watch these guys play, you know, why we go to work every day is, you know, because of this hat, because they work hard on and off the ice. They dedicate themselves, their minds, their bodies to school, you know, working out, playing hockey, all that stuff to develop and become better people is really what the Halley hat embodies. And you know, we hand it out after every game, and you know, you can't think of a better person to represent that than Peter Hallish. And so it's very important, an important award for us, and to get voted on that for Cam, I think is fantastic. He's done a great job with his time here in Topeka.
The Defensive Player of the Year award went to a guy that he's not just a solid defenseman, but he's very much a threat on the other side of the puck, and that's Tyler Hayes.
I was thinking when Hazy won that, we should probably change it to Offensive Defenseman of the Year. Maybe we should have like a co-award. I don't know. No, Hazy's done a great job. He, you know, he is a threat to score. You know, him getting his college commitment this year that was the conversation we had with those guys at Niagara. You know, hey, he can make plays. He likes to jump up in the rush, and he has that capability. But you know, his numbers are what. They're pretty good offensively, but defensively, you know, he has a good stick. He uses his feet very well, you know, and he's physical down low. And he's not the biggest guy, but you see him work extremely hard in the D-zone. So really happy for Tyler.
Because of the way that Tyler is a threat to carry the puck from end to end, and his hands are exceptional for a defenseman, is that just sort of a bonus that came along with Hayes, or is that an attribute in your defenseman that you always try to throw, make sure you got 2 or 3 of those guys in the mix?
Yeah, today's game you got to have some of those guys. You know, you don't have the big 6'5" guys that just latch on you and drag you down the ice. So we look for guys that can make plays, that can skate, that defend well. You know, and they can play both ends of the ice.
You know, interestingly, as an aside note, Ryan O'Connor seems to have really embodied that more so this year than last year. Last year you could see he did it once or twice, and you could see it was fun for him. He enjoyed it, but he didn't really do it a lot. And I don't know whether it was the confidence to do it, or maybe it was just maybe being more disciplined to stay back. And this year maybe he feels a little more comfortable. It seems like he's a guy that loves to jump up and carry the puck 180 feet if he can.
Yeah, that is definitely something that Ryan likes to do. You know, for us, we don't like our D carrying the puck up too much. We like them making the pass and joining, but you know, sometimes they just get going and the puck seems to stay on their stick like it's tied to a string or something. So you know, our guys, we have a good group of hockey players, and you know, they're learning the game. That's why they're here. They're developing, and they're going to make mistakes. It's our job to make sure when they make those mistakes that, you know, we correct them and we move forward. So our group's done a really good job throughout the year.
Of course, and as coaches, it's always hard to squash that creativity, because that's part of what makes it fun for the players and And what helps them grow is to be able to have the freedom to sometimes make those plays, because if you take that away from them, then they become nothing but robots, and that doesn't help them grow.
No robots here in Topeka, that's for sure.
The offensive player of the year, as we went from one college commitment story, we'll transition right into another one. The offensive player of the year, the guy that leads the teams in goals scored, Dominic Lutz.
Yeah, Dom Lutz has been fantastic this year. You know, he's just he's a high character kid. You know, there's nothing bad you can say about Dom. He's such a good kid. He works hard. He's a RoadRunner. You know, and he's earned his opportunity. You know, Fair State's getting one heck of a hockey player, one heck of a kid.
You know, Lutz served as a captain on his high school team when he was a junior, and now he serves as co-captain here. And he's one of those guys that, you know, last season, you know, he's a guy that goes about his work day in, day out. He's very consistent. He's very even-keeled, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. But, you know, this year you started to see him emerge more. That leadership really started to come out of him. It wasn't anything that anyone asked of him. It was just sort of the natural growth of him.
Yeah, and that's how you have to let it happen, is naturally. You can't force it on these guys. And that's just part of being within the group and having some confidence and that leadership quality. You know, for us, we look for guys that have that leadership quality. You know, we don't believe in you know, berating guys or yelling and screaming. We're an even-keeled group. We like to make sure everything, no matter what happens during the game, we keep our emotions in check and just go about our business, you know, as such. And you know, Dom's a great leader for that, and couldn't have a better captain.
And of course, the piece de resistance is always the MVP. And again, a situation where arguments could be made for maybe a couple of different players, but this year the award was given to Cam Strong.
Yep, the players voted on it, so they deemed him as the MVP. So you know, we're happy. Cam's. I mean, everyone here in Roadrunner Nation knows Cam Strong. He's the guy that, you know, he's always doing appearances. He's always involved in the community. He's helping out after practice. He stays 2 hours every day to skate, you know, work on stick skills. Just little things like that is what separated Cam. You know, it wasn't so much that he's the most talented guy, but he's going to make sure that he's the hardest working guy no matter where he goes. And that's, you know, that's, I think, what everyone else needs to take away from Cam this year is that, you know what, you don't have to be the most talented player, but if you're the hardest working guy, I think good things are going to happen for you.
You know, I think an argument could be made for Cam Strong in the category of most improved as well.
Yeah, I think Cam's expectations this year were a little bit different than ours. We saw him, you know, obviously being the leader of this team, and you know, the point production, you know, personally I didn't see that happening like it did, but he exploded. He did. You know, it's fantastic when that happens. You know, we're just we think we're the smartest people on earth and we can predict everything as coaches, but you really can't. From one year to another, you know, things happen, and you know, they're 17, 18-year-old young men that come in, and you know, they train hard every summer, and you know, sometimes it just clicks quicker, and you know, that was the case for Cam. And just right away from the beginning of the year, you know, he brought a different level to his game, and he was consistent throughout the season.
Well, I think as coaches tend to evaluate skill level and the nuances of the game, but the X factor is heart and passion. And that's when that bubbles up. I mean, you can't always predict it, and it seems like that's what happened with Cam. All of a sudden, there was a burning fuel in him and a passion, and when the puck would go in the corner, it wasn't a matter of his skill set anymore. It was his heart and his will.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's funny. We're wrong more times than we're right in this game, because those two things, heart, passion, dedication, you can't predict and you can't teach. Those are just things that qualities within the individual, and you know, a lot of our guys have that, and that's something that when you have that in the room, it's contagious, and guys learn from it, and guys grow from it. So, you know, if you can get more guys that have those three qualities, you're going to be a pretty good hockey team.
Well, heart, passion, and dedication are things that you're going to be looking for, hopefully percolating up this weekend when the playoffs begin. That's when the rubber hits the road, and the leadership that you've talked about with Dom Lutz and Cam Strong, of course, your alternate captains as well. I mean, it's time for everybody to sort of kind of come together. I know one of the things that the team has talked about every year is, you know, at the beginning of the year, there's always the veterans and the rookies, and there's always, you know, the rookies have certain chores, and there's sort of a little bit of separation between the two. But once the regular season is done, then that all goes out the window, and it's one fabric, one mesh, one family. And so that's what you got to look forward to this weekend.
Yeah, the rookie vet thing is something that we addressed right away, and that shouldn't exist, because if you want to be a team, you can't just turn, I'm a vet and I've done this before. It's not a light switch. You got to be a team from day one. And our guys, they'll attest, we've been moving towards that. And it's something that's different in junior hockey, because you go to other locker rooms, other teams, there is that entitlement. And I'm a vet and I've done this before, so I should get more playing time, or I should be on the power play. Well, that's not the case. The best guys and the hardest working guys and the most committed guys, they're going to play. If we have 4 lines that can do it, our team's going to be better off. So, that stands true for the playoffs this year. If we have 4 lines that can do it, they're going to go. We don't discriminate against first year guys or third year guys. The best players are going to play, because it's all about winning this time of year.
Let's go back and take a look at this last weekend in Lone Star, and obviously we'll look at Friday. And the fans had barely had a chance to settle in their seats, and all of a sudden it was a 3-0 lead for Topeka. Granted, those kind of things don't happen all the time, but it's interesting how that can change, the remainder of the game. When you have 55 minutes still to play, you jumped out to a 3-0 lead. There's a couple of challenges there. One is you need to maintain the intensity and realize that 3-goal leads can evaporate in a hurry. And the other challenge is really just to maintain the focus.
Yeah, when you get a lead like that, it's good and it's bad. You get obviously you're doing something right to score 5 goals, and we came out extremely hard, and I don't think that they were ready for it Friday, and I think we caught them a little bit off guard from their goaltending on out. But it's not going to be like that this weekend. There's no way we can expect that. We got to be relentless in our attack. We have to make sure that we're playing our game from the drop of the puck. And that was the regular season. This is a new season, so it's going to be a good series. That's my prediction.
Even on Saturday night, despite the fact you come up short in a 2-1 loss, there were very many things in that game for you to feel good about as a coaching staff.
Yeah, our guys, we came out a little bit slow. We talked about it before. I didn't like the start that we had, but that's going to happen. It's tough. It's tough to play 60 minutes of sound, solid Roadrunner hockey, and that's our goal. That's what we've been trying to do for a long time now. And if we can do that, chances are we're going to have a good outcome. We'll be in the win column, but when you come out a little bit slow and you give them some momentum at home, that's a tough place to play. They got a lot of people there. Their fans are loud, and sometimes it can be intimidating. But our guys didn't let it. After they scored, we came back and we kept our foot on the gas, and we attacked. And I don't want to talk about officiating, but again, it's a little bit of a factor, I think. And at this time of year, we got the Cowboys going for that one. At this time of year, there's nothing outside of what we do. When we have the puck, we don't have the puck, we have to play our game. Officiating, you can't control. What the other team does, we can't control. What we can control is how we play. So we just have to focus on that.
So coming in this weekend, when you look back, you look at the kind of goals you scored last weekend, and some of the goals, like J.B. Baker had that snipe, bar down, and Lutz had the power play goal. It was just a sharp wrist shot, and some of those kind of goals. Are you happy with the way you're scoring goals? Because I know sometimes in playoff hockey you got to get those ugly ones. You got to get greasy and get in there in the paint, kind of like Quinn Preston's goal, where he kind of just was working hard right in there in the paint and jammed it home. Are you happy with the effort in going to those greasy areas?
If Lone Star's watching, we've been working on scoring from the red line, so we're not really working too closely on working within 5 feet of the net. So.
Right. I watched your drills. Everybody, you couldn't pass the red line.
Yeah.
You had to have 2 passes before the red line and shoot from 100 feet away.
That's all we've been working on so far this week, so pre-scout that.
Good deal. Well, there you go. So it's playoff hockey this weekend, and let me ask you, has there been any carryover as far as, there were some fights and all of that? And I know Andrew Hart didn't get a chance to play the following night. They had a couple of guys suspended. What can you tell us about any of that carrying over into the postseason?
I'm going to give you the greatest answer a coach can give anyone. It's a game time decision. How's that?
Okay.
You heard that one before?
Yes, I have. I think I have.
It's a game time decision.
I've seen it on the ESPN.
Yeah, probably quite a few times.
What about injuries? Game time decision?
You bet.
That's what I was expecting. All right, well, I appreciate all the behind the scenes, behind the curtain invites.
Yep.
Insight.
Not a whole lot going on behind the curtain.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. All right, well, we're going to be bringing up our player guest here, and that's I want you to have an opportunity to tell us a little bit about Jack Nichols and what he brings to the team since he's been here.
Yeah, Jack's been fantastic on our blue line. You know, he fits in. One thing we noticed right away, he fits in with the group. He's a real light-hearted guy. He works hard every day. He loves to have fun, and the boys seem to really take him in instantly. And you know, I think Jack coming here really appreciates what our organization has to offer. You know, he from day one he just said, "This is great. I love it. You guys work hard. The team works hard." You know, and he's grateful for the opportunity. And when you hear that from a player, you know, it's really nice to hear, because sometimes guys don't know what it's like other places, and what we have here in Topeka, you know, between the fan base, the front office, the organization, the booster club, the billets, we really do have something special here. So, you know, Jack's been great as a road runner. We really enjoy having him so far, and you know, he's a young guy. You know, he doesn't play young, but he's got a bright future ahead of him if he continues to work hard.
All right, well, let's bring him up. Jack, come on up, and Josh, thank you very much. Best of luck this weekend, Josh. Great. So, Jack, well, you heard Coach talking about you. Did he say anything in that spiel that was a surprise to you?
Not really. It's all pretty true. I mean, I don't know. Pretty grateful to be here because I've been on the road a lot. Been a couple places this year.
No, tell me about some of your career. Tell me, where did you start playing hockey, first off?
I started off at the Glen Ellen Flames in Carroll Stream, Illinois, and then played Double-A my whole life, and then played for Team Illinois 1 year at Triple-A, and then went to Kenai last year as a 17-year-old. Played all there last year. Started the season there this year. Then I got traded to Wilkes-Barre. Didn't really fit in there, so I left. And then went to the Springfield Express in the WSHL. And then finally was traded here. And then, so now I'm here.
Yeah, well, sometimes things work out, right? And a lot of times they say, you know, when one door closes, another one opens. I guess you just had a bunch of doors, boom, 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 but they all brought you right here. So things happen for a reason, and it's worked out very well for you and for the team, because you've been a nice part of the fabric of what's going on here. Tell me a little bit about, from your perspective as a guy who's played now, obviously played in, well, it's the Midwest Division. I think it was the West Division last year for Kenai River. So you got to play with those arenas, and then you were in the East with Wilkes-Barre and saw some of what's going on over there. How does South Division hockey compare?
South is easily the best, no doubt.
And what does it make it the best?
It's a combination of skill, and then guys are very aggressive. Like the Midwest, it's just all right, and then the East is just all physical.
So when you're saying it's best, are you talking about from a skill level or from a player's experience standpoint? Like it's more fun to play in the South, or you're saying the skill level is better in the South overall? Or both?
Both, really. The skill level is better, and it's definitely more fun to volunteer and stuff.
You know, the moving around you've done, and some of your buddies might give you a hard time about it, but realistically, what that's done is given you a wide breadth of experience, and you're still a young guy. You still have a lot of hockey left in front of you, and that can help you make better decisions moving forward and help you enjoy the overall experience better, because you've seen some places that aren't where you want to be, and you've seen some places where you do want to be, and that helps you, stay focused moving forward. Tell me about your long-term goals. And I mean, everybody wants to play college hockey, but do you have an educational path in mind that you're trying to pursue? And if you had your pick of schools, where would you like to go?
I want to be a pharmacist when I'm older, and my pick of schools, I like the Big Ten, so that'd be ideal, but it'll be hard to get there, but I think I can do it.
Of course you can do it. Everyone can do it. So are you excited for playoffs hockey?
Very excited. I haven't played in a little bit, so it'll be fun to get back out with you guys.
Excellent. Okay, who's the funniest guy in your team?
Probably Johnny Walker. He's a character, but he's got to be the funniest probably.
Who's the toughest guy on the team? Who's one guy you wouldn't want to fight?
I don't know. Dom Lutz might be. He scares me. He doesn't talk much, and he just.
Well, that's worse. The silent ones, they scare you. And he's like that. Like, because you know if he snaps, he's going to go snap show big time.
If he doesn't like what you're saying, he'll let you know. So.
Excellent. Well, Jack, we appreciate you taking time to visit with us. Best of luck this weekend and moving forward.
Thank you very much.
There you go. That's Jack Nichols. Next up, we hop on the bus and head right back down to Lone Star and kick off the South Division semifinals. Last year, didn't go so well down there. We split a couple and ended up losing 3 out of 4 games. But you know what? This year, it's time to flip the script and get her done. It's time to play some Roadrunner hockey, and we got the strength of Roadrunner Nation behind us, right? All right. Here we go. We're talking on Friday, 29 Enjoy yourselves, folks, and thanks to Dickey's for being a great place to have a coaching show.
Somebody's watching a television show on television. Have you ever seen it? Huh? I thought you were going to say broadcast news. You really don't have time there with 4. Oh, wait. Should we do the Scooby-Doo ending?